Hello one and all, my name is Fighter Knuckles. Welcome to Let's Play Dragon Quest Swords, the Masked Queen in the Tower of Mirrors. A spin-off to the Dragon Quest series released for the Wii, and one of my personal favorite Wii titles. Unlike traditional Dragon Quest titles that are JRPGs by nature, this one is quite a bit different, and if you don't know why already, you'll find out soon enough. As usual, we can name our protagonist. Now, I probably would have let the thread decide on the name, but for the sake of keeping up with the naming mentality the game has for characters, I decided to go with Saber for our protagonist this time. And I'm lefty, so what can you say? Alright, now it's time to get the game going.
When I first saw the mask, I remember only that I found it so frightening. But from where did this memory come? Already 5 years had passed since the defeat of Xiphos, the bringer of death. The world was at peace. But for me, that had little meaning. Avalonia was holding a fete to celebrate its 5th year of liberty.
They think it's all over. It is now. And the winner is Swordmaster Dow.
The passage of time has not dulled my blade or my skills. Are there no others? No more young heroes willing to challenge an old man? Aha! You there, the son of my accomplished pupil, Claymore, I believe. So, are you ready to try your hand against your father's master?
Oh, blimey! An invite from Swordmaster Dow himself! He's only gone and challenged Claymore's son. Claymore being one of the famous warriors what defeated Xiphos, the Deathbringer. And what's more, he was a pupil of Swordmaster Dow too. Goddess only knows what kind of match we're in for here.
I have been speaking with your father. Tomorrow will be your 16th birthday, I hear. When a young man of our land comes of age, he must undertake the Walk of the Worthy. It is tradition. You must focus your mind and spirit on the ways of the sword now. Come, I will instruct you.
Now it's time to get introduced to the game's combat system. As I said before, it's quite different from the traditional Dragon Quest formula. It's first person, and it just involves you swinging a sword in front of all your enemies. You naturally swing to the center of the screen. You can place a focal point that gives a different center for where your sword strikes. Fairly simple game mechanic, works pretty well. And it's still really a lot of fun. However, this right here is kind of my one beef, I guess I could say I have with the game. Having to keep the Wiimote upright, I don't know, I have to focus on making sure I keep it upright. I don't know, I just kinda... I don't know really. Maybe I'm just weird like that. I mean, you can still play the game just fine without it, but if you want to go for being pretty accurate, you kind of have to do it that way. The cardinal forms of attack, as he said, are pretty much the only ones that you need to know, because the game requires that you do this pretty frequently with enemy formations and whatnot. Thrust, however, is a bit different. It requires you to thrust the Wiimote towards the screen. Focal points do nothing in terms of determining where it strikes, and a lot of times, even if you try really hard to thrust straight forward, you will never quite do it where you aim it to be. I know that's perfect English right there, right? But I'm sure you guys get my point. Shield, pretty self-explanatory. Push B, your cursor turns into your shield, block attacks. One thing is that, see that little circle in the middle of it? No, that's just the shield's design, but it shows what the sweet spot of the shield is. Blocking any attacks in that area doesn't do any damage to your shield. If you mess up and hit the exterior of the shield, that'll lower your shield's percentage and parts of the shield go away, meaning you'll have less shield to work with.
Yes, you are strong. You are well centered. You may even possess the inner tranquility required to execute the master stroke technique I taught your father long ago. Do you wish to try?
Master strokes are your traditional super move. They're flashy, wide range hitting, and pretty powerful. That bar, it gathers by doing pretty rudimentary things in the game, killing things, blocking things accurately with your shield. Pretty simple. And then we can access our master strokes. As you can see, the screen's pretty empty, and the fact that it says page 1 of 1 does mean something. We'll be getting a lot more of these techniques as we go through the game, I can assure you of that. But for now we only have one mighty stroke, which by far is the simplest of master strokes to do. Naturally, of course. This one, all you have to do is just raise your sword to the sky. That's it. And then obviously swing it back down. Not too difficult. Later ones involve you doing things like making a circle in the air, doing violently shaking the Wii remote, various other things. And then with a bit of fourth wall breaking, we're done with the battle tutorial. It's time for a bit more story.
Tiger father begets tiger son. You have inherited your father's command of the blade. Since Claymore lost his arm, he is no longer able to wield the sword. But you, the kingdom of Avalonia, will be fortunate indeed to count you amongst its warriors.
Here ends the Royal Festival of Swordsmanship, commemorating the 5th anniversary of the defeat of Zyphos the Deathbringer. Phew.